Hello, boys. Welcome back. We are doing Dad's story. Let's see. So I think we're still on chapter 3, Young Teenage Years. Okay. Next question. Did you date in high school? I did date in high school. Not a heck of a lot, but there was the typical formal dances. Like we had a winter ball, we had a junior prom, we had a senior prom, um, things like that. I did date a couple of girls, um, but yeah, a lot of the times that we would go out, it would be for, like I said, a formal event. You bring a date with you and stuff like that. I know maybe it's a little bit different than how you guys did it, but it was pretty standard that, like, if we were going to a winter ball, we brought a date. And usually we would all go in a group, but it was a date with you and that one person. You'd all hang out, but you'd be coupled up. So, yeah. Let's see. What was a typical date? Oh, what was a typical date for you like in those days? Back in the day, I don't know. A typical date would be you maybe go out to get something to eat, um, and then hang out somewhere, or you go to a movie, then get something to eat, um, and then I don't know. You just find a place to hang out for the night, and then see where it goes. So wasn't very exciting. Wasn't. It was just, I guess, more or less about being with that person and trying to make a connection. So, um, did you go to any school dances? So, like regular dances, not so much. That wasn't our get down. But like I said, there was the formal ones. I guess, you have your proms, you have your, like I said, winter formals. Um, but yeah, I mean, our high school would have semi-regular dances that people would go to. Um, Homecoming dance, that was another one. Let's see, there was the Sadie Hawkins dance where the girls asked the boys to go. Um, so Sadie Hawkins, and I think you were supposed to dress the same. I remember going with a girl. Actually, a couple of times I went. Once we had matching white Nike T-shirts with white shorts and black shoes. That was kind of fun. And then the other time that I went, Fab Five was huge. Basketball guys at Michigan. Um, so we she had a Chris Webber jersey. I had a Jalen Rose jersey, and yeah, that was cool. Um, but yeah, the regular, just like, oh, spring fling or fucking whatever. Yeah, I didn't really go to those. Okay. Did you play any sports? Yes. Like I had mentioned earlier, when I was in elementary school in Washington, CYO was soccer. Played Little League Baseball all the way up until we moved to California. Um, and usually, it was kind of like being on bad teams most of the time, except for when we won a lot playing baseball, Little League Baseball. Um, and actually, Papat was an assistant coach on that team with me. Um, we had a nice little run. We were city champs. and went to like a regional thing, and I think we won one game, and then we were out after that. So those were my younger years, and then in middle school, no sports. I didn't play any sports. Uh, that's when they played basketball. We moved it here in California, and CYO basketball. That was everything. But I wasn't good enough. I didn't even want to try out for that stuff. So I knew it. I knew I wasn't good enough for basketball. So, and then get into high school, and then we're talking football. Played all 4 years in high school. Um, Freshman football, 1 year at JV, and then 2 years on the varsity. Um, let's see. I remember I did try out for baseball 1 year when I was a junior, and I made it through a couple of rounds of cuts. I just couldn't hit the ball anymore. Didn't know how to hit a curveball. But yeah, so majority of my sports career was football. Let's see. What year did you graduate high school? Graduated in 1993. I believe it was June 6th or June 9th, around there. Our graduation was the Paramount Theater in Oakland, um, which is really cool. It was really cool. Um, we all sat down in like the orchestra area, like in the front, obviously. Walked up on stage, got our diplomas. Um, yeah, it's just really cool experience to be in an actual theater. So instead of being out on a hot ass football field in June. Do you remember where you ranked academically? No, I do not. It was probably middle bottom. School, I'm sure you guys can relate. School was shit. Didn't enjoy being in the classroom. Did what I needed to do to graduate. Um, but actually, by my senior year, things got a little easier. All the prerequisite classes were done. Got to do a lot of what do you call them? Uh, uh, the fun classes, not alternatives, electives. I do a lot of electives. I remember doing home ec as a junior, and there was this guy, Dan Johnston, who actually lives around here. You've played against Jacob. You played against his boys in CYO. Or maybe AJ, you played against his boys. Anyways, I don't know. Yeah, Dan and I had home ec together, and just remember laughing through that whole class. We would just dick off and make tarts and shit. I don't know. It's just fun, dude. It was just fun. But yeah, so senior year classes were a lot easier. Seemed like, and actually got really decent grades for the first time. Okay. Favorite subject in high school? Didn't have a favorite subject really. There were some cool ones that I took. Like you said, home ec, that was fun. Econ, that wasn't bad. I don't know. I can't remember. Uh, what were your least favorites? 99% of them. Oh, favorite one. It was an elected. It's called Opening the Inner Door. It's basically a meditation class. So, and our classes were like super long. They were like 45 minutes to an hour. And it was just, we had a chapel on site, because again, Catholic school, Catholic high school. So the class took place in the chapel. It was a guided meditation course. We just laid down, tried not to fall asleep, or fell asleep. It was the best class. Least favorite, I would probably say biology and Spanish. Spanish was a 2 year requirement, I think pretty normal, a foreign language for 2 years. I basically took 4 years of Spanish for a 2 year requirement because I took the 2 years, well, I guess maybe three. I took the 2 years as required, and then both years I took it, I had to go to freaking summer school for Spanish. Ugh, God, it was the worst. And biology wasn't even that much better. I didn't, passed by the skin of my teeth. A lot of work. I had to put in a lot of work for that. Yeah, so those were my least favorites. What is something from your high school or your teen years that you would like to change and do over? Man, if I could do anything, and I would be more dedicated to sports, for real. I would, if I could go back and do it again, I'd cut out the fucking around with the drinking, which looking back feels like it held me back, and I would just I would be more dedicated to sports. See where it took me. I could have possibly gone to college, just as was, with some football. I remember being semi-recruited by Cal State East Bay, when they had a football squad. We went down to one of their games. We're on the sidelines during the game as recruits. So that was really cool at the time. But yeah, I feel like if I was more dedicated and stayed focused, then who knows? Was there a teacher or coach who had significant impact on you? Oh, my coaches, for the most part, were shit. The head varsity coach, who was a fucking dork, still trying to relive his college playing days, I guess. I don't know, but the head coach was shit. I had a teacher, and he was a coach as well. His name was Mike Rule, and I think he was one of my history teachers. He was my head JV coach, then an assistant coach on the varsity. He was just one of those guys that seemed to get it. Good motivator. We also had another coach, Jerry Sheets, who definitely taught American history, and he was on the football staff as well. Man, this guy was tough. He was tough as a teacher and as a coach. He would talk about his Vietnam history a lot. He was a vet. I remember him during a game one time. I think I was I was a senior, and something happened during the game, and I got hurt, but not like hurt where I couldn't play. Then another kid came running to the sidelines, told me to come out, and I thought it was because I was hurt, or the coaches thought I was hurt. So I sent him back. I'm just like, "No, dude, I'm good," and didn't come out of the game. And then when I ended up, coming out for change of possession or whatever, Jerry Sheets, this guy is probably 5'5" on a good day, wiry old fucking little man, piston. He grabbed me by the face mask and pulled my head down to his level. He was like, "Next time I tell you to get out the game, you get your ass out of the game." And he was barking at me so much through my mask. I was just like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm so sorry." Oh my God. It was just, dude, he was great. He was, like I said, he was tough in the moment, but he was a good man. So, let's see. What was your favorite kind of music? It was 90s, man. There were so many different kinds. But when I started really getting in and finding new things, like exploring new kind of music, I was big into Jim Morrison and the Doors from the 60s. Um, Pearl Jam was probably my number one current band at the time that I loved. I got to go see them in concert a few times, and and then just that kind of alternative um, grunge music, as they called it back then. And then there was hip hop, there was rap. It was 1993 was the year Dr. Dre, and Chronic, Snoop came out. So yeah, 90s R&B still slaps. Love it. Go back and listen to those records, man. Those were good. So yeah, that's my musical taste, I guess. Kind of all over the board. Okay, so I think we're gonna end it there for today. That was a good 15 minutes, 16 minutes. So, all right, that's what we have for today. We'll go ahead and continue the teenage years on the next one. So, love you guys.